I'm Joe Lample. When I created Growing a Greener World, I had one goal: to tell stories of everyday people, innovators, entrepreneurs, forward-thinking leaders who are all, in ways both big and small, dedicated to organic gardening and farming, lightening our footprint, conserving vital resources, protecting natural habitats, making a tangible difference for us all. They're real, they're passionate, they're all around us. They're the game changers who are literally growing a greener world and inspiring the rest of us to do the same. Growing a greener world, it's more than a movement, it's our mission. You know, a lot of us are turning to more natural choices for how we live our lives. And that's especially true for the food we eat. So it only stands to reason that organic gardening and farming practices are at the heart of a healthy lifestyle and diet. In addition, there's a huge movement going on across the country to work with schools to promote gardening and growing fresh food as the ultimate outdoor classroom. Even resorts and planned communities are incorporating farm-to-table organic plots as a core feature to attracting people now demanding this kind of amenity. But who are the people being hired to implement these progressive ideas into reality? Known everywhere as Farmer D, Daron Joffe is the new face on an old practice, gardening and farming without chemicals, yet with the advantage of 21st century training to incorporate the latest information. Today, his experience and passion for sustainable methods keeps him in high demand to a hungry audience.
Well, I got into organic gardening, sustainable agriculture really for the first time in college, my freshman year, University of Wisconsin-Madison. And it really actually happened over lunch. I was eating a sandwich one day and pondering kind of the origins and whereabouts of this sandwich, and started thinking to myself, you know, I've never grown anything that I eat, and I don't even know anybody that grows anything that I eat. And it started me kind of thinking about, you know, I got excited, I got a little jazzed, like, wow, how cool would it be to learn how to grow a sandwich from scratch? And I started there, and I went to the agriculture campus where I hadn't spent much time and started investigating the ag school. Discovered they didn't have a program specifically in organic gardening or farming, but I did find an internship and got a professor to sponsor a summer internship on an organic farm. So my freshman year of college in '94, '95, I spent on an organic farm that I picked out of I interviewed about 5 farmers, ended up working on a really cool farm called the Prairie Dock Farm in Watertown, Wisconsin. So how did I get from my internships to where I am now? Basically, when I first got into organic farming and I came home from college, told my parents, hey, I want to be an organic farmer, this is it. My mom jokingly said, Farmer D, and she started calling me that ever since, and that's basically the name that has become my identity. And when I went back to school, I started a program for kids in summer camps, and I ended up getting a national fellowship grant called the Joshua Venture Grant. And I learned how to run a nonprofit. I had a nonprofit for 5 years. I set up gardens and summer camps all over the country. It was a great experience. And then I was hired by a professor while I was still in school, University of Georgia, to set up an organic farm for his PhD students to study and do research on. I actually had all this stuff going on, school, farm, nonprofit. And I went to the dean and I said, what do I do? Like, I can't do all this. When I got this fellowship grant, he said, you know what? School's to create opportunities. You got them, pull out of school, come back if you ever want to. So I pulled out of school for the second time and ran the nonprofit. And then he actually, in that meeting, the dean said, you need to go see this project, Serenbe, south of Atlanta. They need an organic farmer. You're perfect for it. I kind of laughed at him and I said, I got all this stuff. And a year later, and I went down there to volunteer and I met the owner. Long story short, he hired me to set up the organic farm at Serenbe, which has become one of the #1 communities in the country. And that launched for me really a consulting career in designing and building, setting up and managing organic biodynamic farms in residential communities around the country. And all these projects also have a connection to schools and social justice, so I'm able to take all my passions, roll them into one. Well, over all these years, I always get the question from people who are like, God, I want to do this at home. You know, how do I have the little mini farm in my backyard? And it's really been hard to refer them to a place to say, go here and you'll find the biodynamic compost, you'll find the good organic seeds, you'll find somebody who can tell you what to plant, when to plant, how to deal with bugs. there really hasn't been that kind of place that I could send people. We wanted to make organic gardening easy and accessible to anyone. And we've been building these beautiful, sustainably harvested Western red cedar raised beds. And we make our own custom soil to go in it. And we have organic fertilizer and our seeds, and we have our own private label plants that our growers grow for us in our soil mix. And we have this, what we call a garden to go.
Wow, this is some really great looking stuff. But have you ever stopped to think what happens to this after it reaches its prime? Well, I have, and typically it's a guy like this who's going through the less than perfect fruits and vegetables, the ones past their prime, and tossing them into a big trash bag. But that ends up in the landfill, and when you think about all of the grocery stores across the country doing the same thing, that is a lot of waste. Now, I've often wanted to ask him if I could just take it home and put it in my compost bin, but you know what? I never have. But Farmer D, in his eco-entrepreneurial spirit, has, and he's doing some really cool things about it. All right, Daron, so here it is. So everything that was inside that was being sorted out, that was a little bit overripe, heading to the compost pile, this is the finished product. That is so cool. How did that come about?
Well, it started about 4 years ago. Working with a composter on one of the farms I was setting up near Savannah, Georgia. Really poor soil, used a lot of compost with this guy, the Longwood Plantation. And he asked me to private label his compost. And I asked Whole Foods what they were doing with all their food residuals. They said, you know what, we put it in the landfill and we want to make we want to change that.
Yes.
So I started a program with them. We started with one store, and as part of their Green Mission initiative, we're now up to 14 stores, 40,000 pounds a week.
Cool.
About 3 million plus pounds directed away from the landfill to compost.
Yeah.
You know, it's really thanks to the Whole Foods team leaders, that guys like Michael and the Green Mission, who really make sure that the quality of product we get coming in is clean.
Yeah. And it's not just that now, though, because you're looking at everything in the store. If it can be composted or recycled, it is, right?
Yeah, paper goods, cups, napkins, plates, anything that can break down in compost can basically be used. And we're excited too, because basically our ultimate goal is to reduce the amount of waste that goes to the landfill.
Yeah.
And now we're doing that all around the store, not just in produce where we started, but now in the kitchen and prepared foods, the cafe. Customers can join us now in compost. Team members can do it in the break room. So we're very excited to be able to take all that stuff and send it off to Farmer D.
And in fact, now the bottom line is all of that becomes this awesome compost. I couldn't help myself. I have to get my hands in here. And it's so cool that all of it's coming from the stores.
Looks good enough to eat, doesn't it?
Yeah, you know what? Don't tempt me. I could do that.
And it smells great.
Love
Good
that.
compost, as you know, shouldn't smell bad.
Earthy, good and earthy.
Yeah.
All right, well, that is so cool. That's really closing the loop, isn't it?
Right, definitely.
Full circle.
Yep.
That's what it's all about.
Good job. Farmer D's association with his partners in compost goes back to another significant milestone in his budding career. Located just south of Atlanta, Serenbe was a new 1,000-acre community that included a planned, certified organic farm. The only thing left was to hire the right person to oversee this ambitious endeavor, and Farmer D was the perfect fit. Over the next 3 years, he transformed a depleted clay field into a vibrant working organic farm. Although no longer at Serenbe, he made a return visit with Patty to talk more about this very important part of his work.
So we're here on the farm at Serenbe, and originally it was just an amenity to the community, but it's really become an anchor and brought people to Serenbe. How did that happen?
Well, I think that people who found out about Serenbe or come out here or saw us at the farmers markets and saw the food that we're growing and saw the farm realized that this was not just your normal community. This was a place that cared about the way that the earth was taken care of, cared about the quality of food, the quality of life that people would have out here. You know, as you know, the interest in local food and organic food is just such a big thing now, even here in Georgia, that the farm became really the driving force in a lot of ways behind Serenbe. So many people that would call or come would say, I want to buy here, but tell me when the farmhouses are ready. I want to live on the farm. And we've had a tremendous success with this farm over the last 7 years, feeding the community. We scale it. When I work with these projects, I design the farm so that we're building soil fertility for as the community grows. But in the short term, we want to grow really good quality food so the residents and the visitors can experience the farm and the food that's grown here. And it's really important, the design and build of the farm is critical, picking the right site so the soils are decent and that you've got access to water and it's in a good area aesthetically and functionally. And once the farm is designed and built, then I work really closely with training the farm managers and the staff on a day-to-day to run it so that it looks great, that the production is good, the quality is good, that we're on top of our pests, on top of disease, weeds, and make sure that the programming, the experience people have when they come out here is also something that makes them want to be in this community and live here.
So tell me about the day-to-day operations. You know, how big is the farm? How many people work here? What's grown?
Well, we've got 5 acres under cultivation right now, and you know, we grow the farm as the community grows. Most of what you see here are vegetables. We do grow herbs, flowers, fruit, and raise some animals, but our focus is growing vegetables. We have about a little over 100 CSA families, which stands for Community Supported Agriculture. And basically those families invest in the farm every season. They buy their share ahead of time. They take the risk with the farmer that if there's a crop loss, they're going to share it. But in most cases, they share the abundance, and it's a great value.
And they also work on the farm too sometimes.
They have the option to do a worker share, which saves them money and allows us to engage them more and get some labor out of them. But yeah, basically they get a weekly share. So in the spring, they're getting, you know, collards and kale and cauliflower and onions and beets and arugula and carrots and this beautiful box of vegetables. And it's a surprise. Every week is something different. And they get a newsletter that kind of tells them what they're getting, how to cook with it. And it's a great way to build community around food.
Seems like Serenbe is a model for other communities out there, and it's being duplicated all over the place.
Yeah, it's true. You know, the farm-based communities are kind of the next golf and tennis community. You know, people are looking more for a wholesome type of amenity that builds community, and this is perfect. So I'm seeing this, you know, I don't even call it a trend. It's more of a movement of communities that are integrating agriculture into their designs and into their community culture. But I'm also seeing this happen in much more than just residential communities. And we've set up farms in youth prisons to, you know, Virgin Spa in, you know, New Jersey, high-end resorts where, you know, they can grow food and herbs for the restaurant and spa. And, you know, also using farming to teach, whether it's therapy or education in schools or senior homes, you know, youth detention centers, boys' homes, where it's both a vocational training, but also a therapeutic experience that helps them deal with whatever kind of issue they're having.
All right, let's keep picking our lunch.
Yeah. You want some more cauliflower?
Yes, so good.
You know, I am such a firm believer that you can never expose children too early to gardening because there are so many great programs that come from the garden. And although there are some great ones all around the country, Farmer D, well, he spends hours every month cultivating the programs around his community. Hey, what's up, guys?
Rip the flowers off. We're gonna take the flowers off of these. You know what these are called?
No.
This is called sorrel. Y'all say sorrel?
Sorrel.
And the easy name is lemon leaves.
Lemon leaves.
You know why they call them lemon leaves?
Because the leaves taste like lemons?
That's right, because the leaves taste like lemons. Now what happens is when they flower and they're trying to make seeds, it'll make less leaves. So we want to cut the flowers off. So we'll just, like you're doing, Chance, just rip the flower off the leaves like that. Yep. So anytime you see the sorrel going to flower, which is called bolting, whenever it's bolting, you want to cut that off. And then what we'll do is we'll get to taste them and see how they taste like lemons. We're going to put these in the compost or we can feed them to the worms in the worm bin because the worms will love it. And this stuff is really, really high in vitamin C, so it's really good for you. And what we'll do is we're gonna make tacos. You guys like tacos?
Yeah.
We're gonna make sorrel viola tacos. So take a leaf, okay? Then you know you can eat these flowers.
No.
Yeah, so you can stick a couple of flowers in. Maybe get
There
a
you go.
purple one and a yellow one.
Who needs a yellow one?
Could I take the orange one?
Sure. These are called violas.
And Farmer D, everything in these gardens or these beds are edible, right?
That's correct.
Yeah. That's important to know that not every flower that you see is edible, but the ones in these beds are.
That's right. So make your sorrel taco and you can just make sure there's no bugs on it. Not that the extra protein won't hurt. And then if you want to say a blessing, you can say a little blessing. And then you take a chow down.
Wow.
Mmm,
What do you think?
that's good.
Not refreshing.
What does it taste like? What's that flavor that comes out?
Lemon.
Lemon.
Lemony.
It's called lemon sorrel.
Lemons and blueberries. Yum. I need another flower.
You know, Daron, I find it interesting that as busy as you are, you find time to spend so much of it in schools and with children. And I imagine, as a businessman, this is probably not the most profitable part of your business.
No, it's, well, you know, it depends how you define profit, I guess, right? I mean, it's not. Clearly, we discount our gardens substantially. But it's what we're all about. It's not about the money in this case. It's about educating kids and getting them inspired and excited about eating healthier food and learning where their food comes from. And maybe they'll be gardeners and farmers when they grow up. Yeah, we obviously don't do this for the money. This is about it's our mission. It's what we believe in. And we want to make a difference in these kids' lives. And in fact, we started a nonprofit called Teach to Grow to help raise money for gardens at schools that can't afford it.
Wow. Well, you've really made a big impression here, no doubt, because as soon as you walk in here, everybody says, there's Farmer D, and they flock to the garden, so you're doing a great job here. All right, good choice, Farmer D. This is one of my all-time favorite vegetables, but I'm not so sure it's obvious as to where that part of the plant is, right?
Do you guys know what this is? What kind of vegetable?
Brussels sprouts.
That's
Smart
good.
guys.
Where do the Brussels sprouts grow? Wow, y'all are on the ball. That's right, they grow right on the stem. And what happened to these Brussels sprouts?
They were roasted by the sun.
That's exactly right. They got too hot, right? They're a cold season vegetable. And is it cold today?
No.
So what's happening to them?
They're drying up.
They're bolting. Remember we learned with the sorrel? They're going to flower. But before we pull them out, because they're not going to continue to make Brussels, we're going to actually eat them. And they're like little micro sprouts. You see them?
Yeah.
Y'all want to taste them?
They're like warts.
Like
You
warts.
pluck them off. And
Grab
just
some.
Give them a little nibble.
Chance.
These are like a chef's dream. These are like micro Brussels.
Pull it off of there.
Mmm.
What do you guys think?
They're bugging mine.
It tastes like Brussels sprouts. Totally fresh, totally chemically free.
All right, so we're pretty good. We're gonna keep the soil in the bed. We don't wanna lose that, that's gold. And let's go ahead and pull the rest of the Brussels sprouts out. You wanna pull them out?
Yeah.
And where are we gonna take them from here?
Over.
To the compost.
All right, while you guys are pulling them out and taking them to the compost pile, I just want to tell you, if you think that we enjoyed these Brussels sprouts, and I know that we did, wait till you see what Chef Nathan Lyon is cooking in the kitchen using Brussels sprouts.
Here, you wanna pull this
All
one
right,
out?
compost time.
These poor little guys, Brussels sprouts, totally underappreciated, but super delicious if you prepare them in the right manner. I'm gonna make roast Brussels sprouts with toasted pecans with a little bit of bacon right there at the end. First thing I wanna do, get those pecans in the oven. Pecans, dry sheet pan in the oven at 400 degrees for about 8 to 12 minutes. We'll check on them just if you start to smell them. And they go. Okay, so the pecans are in the oven. We have the water boiling, not just regular water. This is a great time to season the water to get a little flavor in those Brussels sprouts. Gonna add about a tablespoon. The Brussels sprouts, in they go. There we are. Ooh, be careful. Delicious. So, next thing, let's get some of that bacon started. Big saute pan, because all the Brussels sprouts have to fit in there. Medium to medium high. There we are. Now with this bacon, don't go crazy with any fancy cutting techniques. Just lay them flat, and we'll cut them in thin little strips. All right, and in they go. Now it's good, I don't want to sizzle right away because if it's too hot, they'll actually stick. This nice gentle sizzle will actually render out a lot of that fat, and that's what's going to make the whole thing come together. Next thing, how about some of these shallots? Just do a really small dice on these 2 shallots. All right, they're nice and diced, but they're gonna have to wait just a little bit because Brussels sprouts, if they're in there too long, they start to get a little iffy. So in they go. Colander time, guys. There we go. Now we'll set these over here to drain. Each of these, after they've drained perfectly, We're gonna halve the tiny ones and then quarter the large ones. Oh yeah, just check out this beautiful bright color. Gorgeous. And the integrity, it's not soggy at all. Perfect. Don't forget about the bacon. Perfect. Starting to crisp up just a little bit in your kitchen. This is when the neighbors come in. Bacon, bacon, they just come to you. You surprise them with these great Brussels sprouts. Okay, you know what? I can definitely smell those pecans and they smell amazing. Don't want them to burn. Okay. Just in the nick of time. I'll put these to the side to cool off just a little bit. There we are. Finish up the Brussels sprouts, and we'll compose the dish. We're just about there, and it's a beautiful one at that. Okay, one more. You can never have too many of a good thing. There we go. Well, that may not be true. We have a lot of bacon grease here. We don't quite need all that flavor. We'll pour off just a little bit. Now we have these crispy bacon. It smells amazing. Remember these shallots? These go in here now. There we are. And get a little bit of color. Quick toss. There we are. And the Brussels sprouts, they're already ready. They go in there too. And a quick toss. Now, there's plenty of salt because of that bacon, but we do need a little bit of kick. How about some freshly ground black pepper? Now that looks great. We have to refresh this a little bit. How about some fresh herbs? That's why I picked out this thyme. Easy to grow, easy to pick, and delicious to use. Just strip it right off, just like that. Quick toss. Now, 2 more things, and we're just about done. I want to bring all of it together. How about a little bit of brightness? And that's where really good quality balsamic vinegar comes into play. Quick toss, only thing left, pecans. We'll serve the whole thing up. This looks great. So I'm gonna chop them up because I want every bite to have a little nuttiness from the pecan, a little bit of that sweetness, some bite, some of that crunchiness. It's all in there. And it makes a fantastic side dish. But if you're somebody like Joe, who loves Brussels sprouts, it makes a darn good meal as well. All these wonderful flavors with Brussels sprouts. And you know what? You can find this recipe at growingagreenerworld.com. And this is a recipe that even your kids might love.
Thanks to the work of Daron Joffe and scores of others like him across the planet, access to fresh, organically grown food is a lot closer than ever. And thanks to the time that they give back, especially to children, so is the information to inspire and equip anyone that wants to learn more about how to grow a greener world for themselves. Through the work of Farmer D and others like him with a similar mission, their efforts to inspire others to build community through gardening are catching on in a really exciting way.
And their earth-friendly methods are resonating far and wide with people and organizations anxious to establish similar programs across the country.
If you'd like to learn more about today's show, be sure to visit us on the web at growingagreenerworld.com. We have a lot more great information there. I'm Joe Lample.
And I'm Patty Moreno.
And we'll see you back here next time for more Growing a Greener World. And thanks for joining us. All right, so let's pick some of these greens and herbs and maybe we can get the chef to fix them up for us.
It's kidding.
I know it. I love compost so much. If these kids weren't around, I'd probably take a bath in this right now. That's how much I love compost.
Should I be looking at, is that okay?
Did you like that? No.
All right,
This isn't gonna crack if we put hot grease in it, will it?
we'll find out.
Wow.